Okay, well, hi everybody. I gotta stop the music. There we go. Actually, I'll put it on a little longer, just a little lower. Welcome to the live stream. This is the first thing that popped into my mind of wanting to do things for customers. My name's Israel Lopez. I'm the president of Israel Lopez Consulting. I provide a lot of inventory solutions and software development, business consulting for the Fishbowl Inventory community. And honestly, I've been kind of off the radar for a bit of a long time. And this is our first live stream, so bear with us. We're only going to do this for a little bit just to get the kinks out, because we're going to do a longer live stream later this week on Friday at the same time. So if you want to see more of what we can do for Fishbowl and the solutions that Fishbowl can provide and some of the things that we can do as a company, please join on that live stream. That live stream will have another co-host, Joshua Klar, one of our associates here at the company. It'll be a 2-hour show, or maybe less if I get talked into it. But the idea is to just interact with the Fishbowl inventory community or people that are interested in Fishbowl, and honestly, just have a way to have some fun because we're all cooped up at home, and I thought this was a fun way to share what I know about the Fishbowl platform and connect with more people. So today I'm just going to keep it pretty easy and light. I'm just going to walk and do some of my Fishbowl reporting work that I need to do, write some queries, and hopefully get some questions. I already got some questions earlier today before the live stream started. And if you don't get those questions in during the live stream, either save them for the live stream on Friday, or we do have an email, YouTube at israellopezconsulting.com. Just send an email there, and if it's something we can work on during the live stream, we'll definitely work on it. So what I'm going to do today is just do some SQL development, walk around the Fishbowl platform. I've got a virtual computer here with Fishbowl installed, and we're just going to go around the basics of Fishbowl and just have some fun for about 30 minutes because I got the rest of my day to do. And yeah, let's get started. Let me switch the screens here. So I've got a basic Fishbowl installation here. Let me just log into it and get going. If I remember the password. There we go. Now, one of the things that I really enjoy about Fishbowl, there we go, some technical difficulties. One of the things that I really like about Fishbowl is that, back in 2009, I was able to find Fishbowl in its infancy, and really as a junior IT consultant, was able to really get my head around the platform and be able to really understand really in one person, an ERP system. It's not a full ERP system. It doesn't have its own general ledger, so there's some limitations there. That's why we integrate with, QuickBooks, Zero. Oh, you know what? I have the Australian version of Fishbowl loaded on this machine. While I talk about Fishbowl a little bit, let me switch that around. Let me go to the talking head real quick, because even though we don't have necessarily an Australian audience, we do work with Australia. But since this is going out during the daytime, I do want to work with the U.S. version of Fishbowl. So give me a second for that. And if there's any questions, go ahead and type them out in the chat, and we'll try to answer them on the stream here. So give me a fair few seconds. And of course, the settings that I'm looking to change so I can switch from one version to another is not obvious here, but I'll get there. They just take time. There we go. US and start my server up. And unfortunately, I'm running a little older version of Fishbowl. This is a development environment for testing of our internal software. At ILC, we do make a fair number of software projects, developer tools, integrations with like platforms like Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, any of those kind of projects. We also do EDI. I just realized that I'm still on the wrong development version, but I'll just keep talking. We'll eventually get to the SQL part and get there. Fishbowl demo US. Good demo data. There we go. And at some point, one of the things that I want to do with this live stream is to really just offer some free support for our customers, knowing that with the recent COVID situation, not a lot of companies are getting a lot of sales, or if they had a lot of sales, they're not getting the receivables that they need. And same with us. We had a couple customers pause our projects, so we've got a little extra time. But things kind of happen too, and that are opportunities for us to take care of, and we enjoyed that. Some of our customers already in the pharma food production space, they're real busy, especially food. They're still asking us for help and giving us projects and things like that. So we're okay as a company, but we know some customers now that are in the education space that are providing services to the school districts and things like that. With the schools closed, they're not doing a whole lot. So hopefully this whole epidemic thing turns around and we can get back to business. And speaking of getting back to business, we got Fishbowl loaded here. Perfect. Give it a second. This is a slow virtual machine sometimes. And one of the questions that we had earlier, while we wait for our little virtual machine to come back to life, is RFID. So Sajad Elias asked if there's any ready solution available for integrated RFID in Fishbowl. And the answer is no. I don't know of anybody specifically that has a solution for RFID. We as a company have had a number of requests, I think about 4 or 5 requests last year, down to the proposal stage where we understood what they're looking for, and how RFID could help them, and the devices that they could use to integrate with RFID, but didn't really go past the proposal stage. So happy to discuss that with other people at some point if they need RFID solutions, and yeah, it's awesome. Anyway, now we're live on Fishbowl, the US version of Fishbowl, and back to what I was talking about earlier. The integrations with the accounting platforms for QuickBooks Desktop, QuickBooks Online, Xero, they're really awesome. They provide a lot of value to companies that are just can't operate transactionally or business-wise in the workflows that they have using the standard QuickBooks connection. Although QuickBooks Enterprise has added a lot more features, and given Fishbowl it's run for its money, but the flexibility that Fishbowl offers in its workflows and customization and as a development platform even provide a whole lot significant value. And I see a lot of customers who are native on QuickBooks also consider moving to QuickBooks Online. And we've got a number of projects where we help customers convert their QuickBooks Enterprise file to QuickBooks Online, and a fair number, 1 or 2 customers here in the US using Xero. It's not that much, but happy to include them to the clan. Anyway, back to what I need to be doing for work, developing SQL queries. Now, the SQL development is something that's really cool in Fishbowl. I like it a lot. About 2 or 3 years ago, they added this functionality called the data module under reporting data. And that allows companies and basically developers to look at the data that's in Fishbowl, the MySQL database, and really be able to just ingest it and consume it, right? And I thought that was an amazing functionality. Here we can start taking a look at the tables. Fishbowl is not, a very heavy system for tables. You don't have a data dictionary where you need to translate, SY0040 into the sales order table. Part is where you think it's going to be. It's under our table called part. And yeah, I'm just going to do a brief walk around, not a whole lot. That will save a lot of that for the live stream on Friday, where essentially I'm going to teach Josh, one of our associates, how to do SQL, because I think it's a really great skill to have to be able to kind of design your own reports. And at some point, maybe we can show some of the reporting functionalities and solutions that we have for as a company, because we do develop reports ourselves. And if any people that are on the live stream want a report written or some SQL query written for themselves, then yeah, just shout out the idea, and we'll get to work on it and try to make it happen. So the first thing, let me switch over to my Slack channel for this sort of thing, is a request from a customer. Get to the right request here. Okay, so here's the request. Show me the differences between the current BOM and current work orders in Fishbowl, because I changed them and invariably somebody in the work orders don't get changed or updated. They're created about a few weeks ago, and it'd be helpful to know if we were to compare those current work orders to now, what is different with them, right? So let's just take a minute to walk around where that looks like in Fishbowl and get an idea of where those tables are, and we'll just get to work on developing that SQL query. Okay. So since we're talking about bill materials and work orders, let me bring you guys to the bill material module. And here we've got a couple of bill materials. And since I'm not using the customer's database, normally I would be developing against the customer's database. We just have this example database from Fishbowl. And you can see here we've got the bikes as we normally have, the examples that they have here. And the bill materials define what is the intended perfect build out necessary for that. So we've got the extreme bike here. And what if we had a change to, instead of the premium brake pads, we had the by design we change the design and have a lower quality or even higher quality brake pad. And we had existing work orders that had the old style that will continue to be manufactured under that. How do we identify those, right? And it's pretty easy to just do that in Fishbowl, just to take a look at your work orders click by click and see that. But I can see how it could be really difficult if you had hundreds of work orders, and not just hundreds of work orders, but hundreds of changes, right? So you've got a many-to-many problem. And that's why reporting and SQL makes that maybe a million click problem a lot easier, because we just define what we need in the SQL and get the results and then interpret it and do something with it, right? And to be fair, sometimes in this particular situation, they don't have everything changed. Maybe they only have one part number that changes 15 work orders. Which 15 do they need to go modify or manage, right? So let's go take a look at that and see how we can solve that. Under the bill materials, let's go make a manufacture order. We've got a couple here already. So I've got the new to biking kit. I want the different bike, but I think I might just create my own finished good. Let me know. That's what I'll do. So I'll make a new manufacture order, and I'll use the FG 2100. Right, and I'll issue it. And I'll make a new one. I'm a bit cheating, right? Because the idea is that we're not sure which ones are that need to get modified, right? I'm just doing them now, so of course I would know. But this might not happen, right? So the idea here is we're going to go ahead and change the bill materials, and we're just going to take out the brake pads, right? And save it, right? Now here's the key difference. So we can tell that here we don't have the brake pads; they're gone. But with the way that Fishbowl works is that the bill material data, what you intend to do is copied to the work order. So here I have the brake pads for one set, right? And unfortunately, that is how it was designed, right? So there's no automatic, there's not a Fishbowl Clippy if you're familiar with Microsoft Office, that helpful pop out. It's like, hey, it looks like you want to change bill materials. Are you sure? You will have to go and change your manufacturer orders as well. But at the same time, I have companies who need to change the manufacturer orders on a case-by-case basis anyway. So the bill of materials is really just a suggestion. It's not going to be a hard and fast rule. And this is for this customer, this was a bigger issue with when they build out their manufacturer orders about a month in advance, and they're still changing the definition and about when they need to produce, because it takes them about a day to produce. They need the updated bill materials. So there's a little bit of a challenge there. Wanting to have your manufacturer order demand available and then changing it at the same time so that your purchasing team can know what to do. But you don't want to send out the old revision. You want to send out the new revision, right? So anyway, let's get into it. Let's see how we're going to look at this in data. So in the data module, let me navigate to a couple of tables. We're going to be looking at the bill material table. So let's go take a look at that. B, bill materials. So this is the bill material header, right? So this tells us what we have for the bill materials. And it's really easy right now in this example database to double click and look at it. And same with bill material item. Lots and lots of data, right? So we have to then compare a given bill material with a work orders bill material and then see what's different, right? And that seems pretty hard. Like, try to imagine trying to do this in Excel. It would be a pain. It really would be a pain. Now let's take a look at it in the work order table. So we're going to pop down here to work order, W. So we've got the work order data. We can take a look at that. That's not a problem. And in this, we're going to have the data specifically for, let me get that right. Actually, that wouldn't be here. Did we be in work order item? We would have the quantity, the part, but also the bill material item. Actually, that's not true, because this is something that when I'm talking about it, I don't get it right, but when I think about it, I do get it right. And what we'll do is it's actually under the manufacturer order table. There we go. Manufacturer order, that's cool. That's what we see in the manufacturer order module. MO item is what we see for the actual descriptions, the bill material item ID, and the BOM item, or the BOM ID. That'll be in here. Yep, BOM ID right there. And BOM part ID, BOM item ID in here somewhere. Anyway, you get the idea. I know where I'm going. I kind of have a solution. I'm just going to walk us through and see how we can get there. So to start, let's take a look at our current work orders. So what I'll do is join from work order to work order item, work order item dot work order ID, and let's just get work order number, work order item, star. Let's do that. And the hotkeys that I'm going to use on the keyboard is Control Enter to run the query immediately. And that's pretty easy, right? So some basics. You always start a query with select. You then define what kind of results you want in the selector, they call it, work order number, and then here the asterisk just says give me everything from that table. And then you describe how you kind of want that pulled out, right? Databases are amazing. They're pretty awesome. They do a lot of work with just a few number of keystrokes. And from here, I just said, give me everything from the work order item, And what we're going to do is just make this a little more defined. Is we're going to pull in the part, work order and part ID, and then we're going to say part.number as part number, and work order item quantity to quantity target quantity. And we'll run that, right? So, typo there. So now we see essentially all of the work order numbers and the part numbers and things like that. Let's compare that with what we see over there. So here we have this manufacturer order, work order number 001, right? And let's go take a look at that. Let's add a filter. So we're going to say work order number equals, what was it? 1019.001. And there we go. So now if we compare with what we see on screen, yep, generally the same, and that looks good, right? So now we know. Now we have a data set for what um, the work order has. Now, how do we get a data set for what the bill of material has? So that's going to be another query. We're going to take this and save it in a notepad real quick. Yep, we'll use that later. And it's going to be pretty similar. So we're going to do select from BOM, join BOM item, .BOM ID. And I'm going to say maybe BOM number for like the header. And then we're probably going to need part number as well. And BOM item quantity as quantity. And a lot of this I'm just pulling off from memory. So, because we're just doing a light and easy live stream, we'll have a more longer live stream where we have a chance to talk about it a little longer. Maybe a 1 hour, 2 hour live stream. We'll see. And in this case, because I happen to know what we are looking at, we're looking at FG 2100. We'll put that in here. Oops, got a typo. All right, this is good. So you get the typo, you get an error, you get this nice big scary pop-up, but it's really not that big of a deal. All this Java messages is really stuff you can ignore. What it comes down to it is, hey, the database is telling you, hey, I don't know what part number this is or what this is. You haven't defined it, and that's true. I haven't totally forgot to join it. And there we go. And try it again. And there we go. You can already see that the results are a bit different. So let me pop back over to the last one for the work order. Okay, there's one row extra there. And let's go back to this one. It's slightly different, right? So if you were to do this in Excel, you'd be doing VLOOKUPs. You'd have this two data sets, and then you do a VLOOKUP from one side to another and see, hey, where the part number is not on the other side, then that must be the missing one, right? So here's what we're going to try to do. We're going to do something similar where we are going to not necessarily join, but we're going to put the two results one over the other and then sum it all up in order to see the differences. That's a bit of a neat trick that I've learned over the years, is to kind of just run two queries and then add up the rows and see which ones are different, because we'll be able to add up the ones with zeros and the ones with rows with one, and we shouldn't get a duplicate, right? So we're going to give that a shot. We're going to copy this query over to our little notepad here, and what we're going to do, let me just make this a bit bigger. Zoom. And what we're going to do is say, get rid of our work order number, because we need to keep things clean and consistent for the next part. And we're going to say this is the work order quantity, right? And this is the BOM quantity, right? Now, right now, if I run these together with the next keyword that we'll learn, union all, you'll see what happens. So we'll paste that in there, and you'll see the results just one over the other, right? Not that helpful, honestly. So what do? One of my tricks to do is just to add another column to the top query and then skip it on the bottom query, and I'll show you how that looks. So I'm going to say 0 as BOM quantity, right? So I'll have a column for work order, and then I'm going to have a column for BOM, and just have one's going to have zeros and the other one's not, and then we'll add them together. Work order quantity. And copy that. Run that for a second. Okay, you see? So we've got the work order quantities here, because that was the first query, and then zeros for BOM, and then we've got the work order quantities zeros here, and then we got the BOM quantities here with quantities. Works, right? Not a problem. So how do we make this a little easier to read? Because this is still not useful to a manager of some sort. We're going to aggregate it, right? So this is the next cool thing that we say with databases. If we alias this entire thing, we say, hey, this whole thing, give it a name. We're going to call it bomb data or compare data. Let's just call it compare, right? And we can just wrap it in parens and then select compare dot part number sum compare part work order quantity as work order quantity sum compare bomb quantity as bomb quantity from my new named aliased table, right? So if I do that and run it, I get something like this, right? And again, what happened? Well, MySQL is trying to be cute and trying to be helpful and says, well, okay, if you sum up these columns, I'll do it. But I'm going to assume that what you want in the part number, you just want the first value, right? And it's cute. It's, awesome for most people. Not awesome for us because that's typically not the experience that we want. That could actually be a problem. I've been bitten a few times just not noticing that is the behavior that the system is doing or the database is doing. And the easiest thing to do is to then declare that we're going to group by a particular column. So in this case, we're going to group by at the bottom here, column position 1. You could also put the actual column name or the reference. I like the numbers because it's less typing, but it's people could, I'm sure professionals could actually tell me that I'm doing a bad thing. Okay, so now we're at the stage where things are starting to make a little more sense, right? So given this exact bill of material and this exact work order, it'll tell you if they're different, right? So I can see right here that 1 is in the work order, but none are in the bill of material, right? And this would go vice versa. So I could take something out of the work order and then maybe it's in the bill of material because it got added, right? So let's go model that. Pop over to the manufacturer order. Let's get rid of the handlebars. Save it, right? And we'll run it again, right? And now I'm missing the handlebars in the work order, but I have it in the bill of material. Fine, not a problem. So how do we make this a little more useful? Because just as it is, it's not that great. You still have to punch in your or type in your bill of material number and your work order number, and then it tells you what it is. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify the work order number and the BOM number together, and then use that as a base for both queries. I know we're getting a little more advanced, but I think this is going to get you excited for why you'd want to join us on the live stream, and that's fine. So let's go do that. So we're going to copy this, bring this over to our little notepad, and let's figure out which work order numbers have which BOM numbers, because if we have that, then we can do the rest. All this is building up to a solution that works, right? So let's do that. So we're going to select from. In this case, we're going to do from manufacturer order because that's truly where we have the BOM data. And we're going to join manufacturer order item. And then we're going to join work order item. If I can type right. And then we're going to join work order. There we go. And then finally, we're going to join the BOM. Right? So from this, we should be able to say work order number and BOM number. Right? And run that. Okay. We've got data. That looks pretty good. Let's go confirm. So the one we were working on rather recently was 1019. So we'll go to 1019 and yep, FG 2100. Now unfortunately we have duplicates here, right? And we can solve that. We can just be a little creative here and use our group by function or group by feature, and we say, just give us things that are unique, right? And there we go. Now we have unique. The 1019.001 is linked to this bill of material FG2100, right? So now we can start that as a base to use the two different queries that we were trying to do, right? So from the base, we're then going to go say, give me the work order, then the items and all that stuff, and we're going to build this up. So let's give that a shot. So we're going to, again, with our little strategy from before, we're going to go ahead and call this our base, work order base. Join work order on work order number equals work order base dot work order number, right? And then the items. And the part. Right? Now why are we doing this? Well, because I'm only interested in the work orders that have particular work order BOM numbers, right? So then I got to run these queries together and give that a shot. So we're almost done. So work order base star, because we needed all of that. Part number, that's part number. And let's say work order item quantity target, right? And if that works, no, it didn't. Oh, commas. Yep, you'll get that too, and maybe another one. Oh, yeah, the keywords here. Even though I do this a long time, I still manage to type them out wrong. And plus, it's hard to explain it also as you're doing it too. Okay, so now we have data. So now what we're going to do is do basically the same thing as we did before, but this time with a different style, but joining the BOM data, right? So we're going to set ourselves up for success here and say as work order quantity there, as 0 as BOM quantity, right? Run that again. Okay, cool. We got the 1s and we got the 0s. Cool. Awesome. And then we'll union all. Actually save that into another query here. We'll take our base again. This time from the base, we're going to join BOM on BOM.number equals work order base.BOM number. Join BOM item. BOM item.BOM ID. BOM.ID. Join part on part ID equals BOM item.part ID. And I'm doing this a lot from memory. Although to be fair, I also use commercial tools for development where that does the autocomplete and shows you some examples, and it's kind of impressive. You do this pretty quickly. And we'll do the same thing. We'll just match our structure up here. So this is what we had from the last one. And instead of work order item, because we don't have those anymore, we have BOM item quantity, right? Okay, we'll give that a shot. That's working. So now, to remember this, we know what bill of material a work order is supposed to have, right? Because we defined that. And then we're just looking at what the BOM currently has, right? And then we're going to compare that with some more SQL magic, right? So now what we do is copy this query and blend it in from the bottom here with the union all, right? And that should run without error. So we've added more to our row count, 533. That's good. And just to scroll through here, we have a bunch in the BOM quantity column, and then we'll have a bunch in the work order quantity column. Cool. Awesome. And then what we'll do is wrap this up again in another, we'll say the word compare. And it's a lot of parens with SQL. You can get lost. That's why you see me doing the tabs, so I can kind of visually think that, okay, I've got different structures of data that I'm looking at. But a lot of this is just to be able to build a solution that works. You build it once and then you're done, right? So what we're going to do is compare dot work order number, compare dot BOM number, compare dot part number, and then we'll sum our work order quantity, compare dot work order quantity, compare dot BOM dot quantity as BOM quantity, group by 1, 2, 3. If that works, yep, that worked, perfect. Not a problem. So now we're cooking with gas. So now let's see which ones are different, right? And we'll see. And I'm already telling. I can already see that here. There's a couple things that are wrong. And then once we fix that, we'll be done. So I'm going to call this as results, just to keep it easy. Select star from results. And then what I'm going to say is where my results, where my work order quantity is not equal to my BOM quantity. Just show me the differences, because if they're matched the same, I don't really care, right? Okay, here we go. So we've got some work orders where, as far as I can tell, they're probably different because they're needing more than one, right? So let's add some more magic to this. So I think a lot of that's going to be down in the work order data, and I think the easiest thing to do is to probably filter out the finished goods away from it because we don't really need it. So let's see if we can do that here. So this one we're going to call as, give this an alias because you can do that with SQL. You can join to multiple tables and call things with aliases as finished good work order item. And then we'll extend it out here. And we want this to be type ID 10. And now there's a table called work order item type ID or type, and you can, there's these magic numbers. Unfortunately there's a few. That's just how databases are, and you'll get to know them over time. And then we'll actually, you know what? I think what we'll do is actually change this around. Nope, that's still good. Item ID, item ID, and there we go. I think this is a better structure. I'm only doing this now just to kind of give us a shorter live stream because I got a call to go do at 11, and this still works. And RM work order item type ID equals 20. This means finish. This means raw goods. This means finished goods. It's good to actually add your comments in here. And what we'll do is, like, I don't really care too much that how many are exactly on the raw goods or the finished goods. I just want the ratio, right? So how many per build, because that's essentially what the bill material has, is how many that the build needs to have. So what I want to do is divide the raw good by the intended build quantity of the finished good, and then I'll get a work order quantity. So if I run that, oh yeah, there we go. RM item quantity target. What did I do wrong here? Let's try it again. ARM quantity field unknown column. Oh, I know what I did. Sometimes when you don't really pay attention, you're not too careful. I'm supposed to do this down here. All right. There we go. There we go. All right, let's try that again. Perfect. So now we know which work order, right? We know which bill of material, right? And we know which one. So we have here a work order quantity F1901. And we have it 15 to 2. That doesn't make sense. Oh, yeah, I see. Because I joined it twice. See, these are the sort of things that if you're not paying attention to, you'll end up creating results that don't make any sense. So we'll do the raw material item here as our part, and then we'll do the BOM item. Same thing. So we compare like for like. There we go. So now you can really easily see how things change quickly with the right query. So here we have our two work orders, our one work order with the two changes, the work order 19001, and we can see the brake pads and the handlebars that changed on both sides, right? And we can see pretty much we've got 39 changes where there might be something here that is intended or unintended changes that could be useful for a manufacturing customer to understand what's going on. And really, I'll be taking this query and putting it into a Fishbowl report a little later today with my staff members here at the company, and we'll be adding it to the probably the bill material, the manufacturer order module, as a custom report for the customer to use. But we also do reports in the BI report module where you have more interactive workflows, and the functionality can be a lot more. This is a browser, and you can see a lot more. And generally, yeah, we're going to be doing a lot more of this on the live stream. It'll be myself, Josh, and a moderator, Noel, to help us answer questions and be able to give something back to the Fishbowl community. So come with your report requests. We'll be happy to take them and do what we can with them and answer any questions that get put in the chat. All right, that's it from us today. I got to get back to my appointments with customers, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.